Did you know? The Elimination Chamber pay-per-view in Germany isn't called Elimination Chamber, but instead, No Escape. The reason for this is to avoid any similarities to the Holocaust, where Jews and other minorities were killed in gas chambers during World War II in Nazi Germany. When WWE renamed the No Way Out pay-per-view to Elimination Chamber in 2010, German broadcasts simply continued to use the name No Way Out. However, in 2012, when the No Way Out pay-per-view made a return, the event was branded as No Escape in Germany, and since then, all Elimination Chamber shows have used the No Escape title. Sometimes, WWE has censored themselves after an event has already taken place. In 2016, Charlotte, being accompanied by her father Ric Flair, took on Becky Lynch at the Royal Rumble. During the match, Ric Flair kissed Becky Lynch to distract her. This type of distraction wasn't anything new in the WWE, but this particular moment did receive backlash, as some viewers felt that it was sexist of Flair to force himself onto Becky Lynch. It's unknown if it was a pre-planned spot or made on the fly by the performers. Either way, the kiss was removed from the WWE Network version of the show. Another time WWE censored themselves was in April of 2011 on Raw. After losing to John Morrison, R-Truth turned heel by attacking Morrison after the match. Likely to help promote R-Truth's new attitude, Truth grabbed a packet of cigarettes and started smoking. The smoking was cut from the UK broadcast, potentially due to the fact that it's illegal to smoke in a public area in England. The segment may have also been cut due to criticism from anti-smoking groups. In fact, anti-smoking activist Patrick Reynolds asked for R-Truth to publicly apologize for the stint, and even offered to be Truth's personal coach if he wanted help quitting. Censorship hasn't just happened in the ring. WWE's toy line has also had to deal with alterations. Hell in a Cell is a match type that's been turned into a playset a number of times. However, the word hell cannot be used on a children's toy, so the Hell in a Cell match has usually just been branded as simply the Cell. Wrestlers themselves have also been censored when turned into action figure form. When ECW and WWE wrestler Balls Mahoney had an action figure made of him, his name was shortened to just his first initial and surname, or in some cases, just simply his surname. This was likely to avoid intimidating toy retailers from selling a product with an obscene name. While Mahoney was able to keep his name intact, another wrestler wasn't allowed to use his name at all. When TNA Wrestling partnered with toy manufacturer Jakks Pacific, the wrestler Suicide got his very first action figure. However, the figure left out any references to the Suicide name and used a simplified version of his logo instead. This could have been due to legal issues and/or wanting to not worry retailers. While WWE has censored their own product, other organizations have also tried to censor them. In one case, WWE once had an on-air fight with its own network. On the last episode of Raw on Spike TV, any mention of the USA Network, which is where Raw was moving to, was censored by Spike.
Next week, Monday Night Raw returns back. It's gonna be.
To fight back, the Raw commentators try to say USA Network as much as possible to make it difficult for Spike TV to censor it.
Did you say we're going to USA next week?
We're going to USA.
Raw's gonna be on USA Network
We're
next
gonna
week.
have a ladder match on USA.
According to an interview with Vince McMahon afterwards, WWE was not given any warning before the show about mentioning the USA Network. In another instance, WWE programming was completely banned. In late 2006, SmackDown and several other WWE programs were taken off the air in Indonesia. This came about when a 9-year-old boy died several weeks after he was thrown to the ground and pinned by his friends in a manner that resembled moves seen on WWE TV, according to the boy's father. Although, Indonesian authorities eventually said that the death had no connection to WWE. The station airing WWE in Indonesia, LaTV TV, stopped airing WWE after pressure from parents and educators, saying the show encouraged violent behavior in children. In addition to being censored, WWE has also censored others. In the lead up to the release of SmackDown vs. Raw 2009, a demo was leaked that gave guidelines to news outlets who were previewing the game. Journalists could not show screenshots that include blood or showed weapons with significant force. This makes sense as WWE's programming had just switched from a TV-14 rating to PG earlier that year. While it's not uncommon for companies to make restrictions when giving organizations preview copies of their games, another request was a little odd. News outlets were not allowed to show Triple H losing, defeated, or in a defenseless position. Triple H was also the only character to have any sorts of restrictions when included in previews. On the topic of WWE games, WWE has also censored players. The Create a Wrestler feature has been in many WWE games, and WWE 2K15 was no exception. However, when players tried to upload created versions of former WWE wrestler Chris Benoit to the Community Creations page, they were banned from the online content of the game. This is because of WWE's strict guidelines on mentioning Benoit, due to his double murder-suicide. Eventually, the punishment was lightened, and Chris Benoit-related uploads would just be removed without any bans. Did you also know that Alexa Bliss was originally going to be a redneck? Hit the annotation to learn more about that. We also want to thank Did You Know Gaming for inspiring this series. I'm Zach from Tap Out Corner, and I hope you learned something new.